All right, super fun episode today. I have my lovely daughter, Chloe,
Hi, guys.
on the episode. Special father-daughter interview, bonus episode. So this will be fun. Shay and I are usually on here every week telling you how to have a great family, blah, 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 blah. But we could just be blowing smoke up people's butts. The proof is in the pudding. And so I wanted to bring on my firstborn and ask her questions like, how are we doing? How's family life? And just get her take from her point of view. I think it'll add a lot of nuance, which might make it fun. So I have some questions.
All right.
Shay and I help put these together, and then we'll just kind of go through them, but we'll riff a little bit. So I don't know what she's going to say. I don't know where this is going to go, but we are going to have fun. Let's jump in. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm pumped to have you here. If it's your first time, please like the show, or maybe wait till you listen to it to see if you like it. Then you can like it, rate it, all that kind of stuff. And always let us know if you want to hear a specific topic on marriage, family, parenting, all that stuff. We will do an episode. But today, we're talking to Chloe. So just introduce yourself a little bit, like who you are, what you're into these days. Like give us just like a little snapshot into what makes Chloe. Chloe, what are you excited about these days?
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Chloe. I am 15 years old. So I'm a sophomore, upcoming sophomore. Man, what's happening with me? I'm about to start online school, so that's pretty interesting. What I like to do, I like to read. I like to sing. I love worship. I love the Lord. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And what are you into, activity wise, outside of those things? Like you just did a camp.
Right. Yeah. So I do cheerleading for my school, which is super fun. And we just had a camp. We do some competitive cheerleading. So fun stuff like that.
You've done musicals and dance.
That's true. I love musicals.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah. Super creative. And I remember, and your sister also, but I was thinking about this recently, that growing up, you are like the person that could take a cardboard box and turn it into anything, like an actual Coke machine that dispensed a Coke.
Yeah.
Like you could put money in and a Coke would
I made a donut machine once.
Yeah, that's
for you.
That was awesome. Actual donuts came out of it.
Actual donuts, yeah.
It's amazing. So she's super creative, and it's a joy to parent you and to be your dad. So I'm excited to have you on the show. Okay, so we're just gonna get honest, and you are allowed to be honest in your answers.
Right.
Like I can handle it. So let the people know the full truth. Even if we agree on something, but your take is a little different, that's why we're at. You're here. So there's no script. But question one is honest take. What would you say is a strength of our family? We'll start with something positive. You look at our family, you go, hey, I think we do this well, or I love this about our family. What's the strength?
Yeah, I would say we're very connected. I think we have a very chill family in general. Like everyone's just pretty chill and connected, and if there's something wrong, we don't ignore it. Like we just get to the bottom of it. We talk about it. Yeah, so we're very connected. That's probably the biggest thing I would say.
That's awesome. Yeah. What would you say on that, helps with the connection? When you think about why we're connected, what are the things you could point to? Be like, yeah, this kind of helps us feel connected as a family.
For me, I think I don't have social media or most social media. So that's a big thing that I feel like if I did have more access to things like that, I would be more secluded for me personally from you guys. So if I don't have social media, where am I going? Like in the kitchen, in the living room. There's nowhere else for me to go. So, or in my room. And that's another thing. You guys always make sure hey, why don't you come on out of your room? Let's hang out. Yeah.
I was going to ask because you don't need social media to be, secluded. You could just hide in your room, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you think on that side? This is going to be like fishing for a compliment. What do you think mommy and daddy do well to help us be connected? So you said we don't let you have social media. Is there something that we do intentionally that you see that helps us seem connected as a family?
Like as a couple or?
From our side of things. Is there anything we're doing that's helping with the connection?
I would say family vacations, like when we had our family planning day, that was very intentional and that very much allowed us to be on the same page about what we're doing, what our mission is as a family going into the next year. Yeah, can you say the question one more time? Sorry.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, vacations, you said, help us feel connected.
Yeah.
It's just what are the things that we do as mommy and daddy that you feel like help with the connection? You did say we tell you and Vera like, hey, come on down from your room. Why don't you come hang out with us? I just didn't know if there's anything else that like you noticed. Like, yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
probably connected because of this. It's okay if there's not.
Yeah, no. I think we like on weekends, for example, like we're not very we have things that we do like me and Vera. I have cheer, Vera has like gymnastics, soccer, all of those things. But at the same time we're not too busy that we don't have time to just chill on a Saturday, do some laundry, watch a movie, hang out, play games together. I think that if I just think that you guys have found a really great balance with us having our own things, but also us being together. You guys have always been very. I know from listening to your guys' conversations that I hear a lot that you guys are very, very intentional about making sure that we're spending our time wisely as a family, and you're always thinking ahead. Like, okay, for me, y'all have like 3 more years left with me, quote unquote,
Right.
until I go to college.
Yep.
So you guys have always been good, and you always talk to mommy about like, hey, how are we doing with the kids? How much time are we spending with them? What things could we shift around to spend more time with them, which I think is really cool. And I think that's a big part of why we've only gotten better at becoming closer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, flip side. What would you say is a weakness of our family? An area for growth, as it were. Room for improvement.
Oh, man. I think from a spiritual side, I think that we could be better at reading the word together, praying together more. I know we've been trying recently, but I think when we were younger, I don't remember us read. I mean, we used to do like the little, what is it called? That
Oh,
one
the Jesus Storybook Bible?
No, the Jesus Story Bible. We did that. But like growing up, I feel like I wish even now that you guys could be more passionate about making sure we know who we are in Christ. We know like the power that we have through Christ, and like reminding us of our identity as we're going into middle school and high school. I just feel like there's more room to be encouraged, I guess, in that way. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Anything else? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I think that's it, to be honest.
When you say encouraged, specifically encouraged in like who you are in Christ, or was there more to the encouragement? Like when you say we could encourage you more?
Yeah, I would say like whenever you're realizing when me and Vera talk about, because I know we do talk about like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is why I feel like this right now. If you could go deeper in encouraging more of who we are and like who you know us to be. And I think you guys have done a good job of that, but just more of that, more of like daily encouragement. Because sometimes we won't say it, but we do need it. And I know you guys know that, but we need it more and more and more. Like even for Vera, I know that if she's more quiet, that doesn't mean she like needs less help or needs less encouragement.
Yeah.
We really do. Yeah.
That's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Taking notes, Shay?
Yep.
Okay. Room for improvement. Okay. Speaking about Vera, perfect segue. You and your sister Vera, she's 12. I would say you guys get along really well.
Yeah.
Why do you think you guys get along really well? Because I know you're very different. Like you guys are like completely different personalities. You share similar things that you enjoy, but you're very different. Right. Why do you get along? And or you could answer this way: what do you think it takes for siblings to get along well? Is there any kind of pro tips for parents out there, siblings out there?
Man, I think that something you guys. This makes me think of when we were little. If we would get in an argument, you guys would be like, you guys would make a whole deal about it. We have to like sit down. It was probably the whole family. I talk about why I'm mad. Vera talks about why she's mad. We talk about it, and then you guys are like, okay, now let's forgive each other. Chloe, you say it first. I hated doing that, to be honest. Vera,
Yeah,
now you say
forced
it.
forgiveness
And
is the
then you
worst.
said, now hug each other. And that, oh, I hated that so much. And I don't know if you guys know, I'm not a physical touch person.
That's like the worst thing for Chloe. Forced
I
hugs.
still don't like it. But I don't know. Maybe it's something about that just made it seem like I think honestly the fact that I didn't like to hug Vera when I was mad at her made me not want to get in the situation when we'd have to sit down and talk about what I did to her.
That's smart. That's just
Like,
strategic.
be so
How do I not
honest.
have to hug my sister?
Yeah.
Don't get angry with her.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that comes to mind.
That's hilarious.
Well, what else? I think I don't know. Honestly, Vera is just a really great person in general. She's just so much more chill than I am. I feel like I don't know all the family dynamics, but the first child is usually bossy, and that was definitely true with me. But it's gotten a lot better because Vera is like so chill. I don't know. Something about her has just made me chill out.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think you guys honoring both of us, like making sure Vera was built up even in the times where I was bossing over her and literally trying to take over.
Yeah.
Especially when we were younger, would make Vera feel like more accepted and more like on the same level. And then I would chill out. And then I don't know, that dynamic just got a lot better.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it's been interesting to see because from my perspective, like we're trying to build you up and praise you and call out the good in you, but then you're different than Vera.
Right.
And so I'm very conscious every time I'm like, oh, Chloe, it's amazing when you do this. If Vera, that's not who she is or what she's doing, I'm like, oh, I don't want her to feel like I'm saying you got to be like your sister. Yes. So we're trying to find ways to build her up. And then what's been cool is seeing you in these later years call that out in her too. Like you see the good in Vera too. And it's really cool where I think she feels like she looks up to you so much, obviously, because you're her older sister and you're a really awesome person. But like it means a lot to her when you're like, Vera, it's amazing what you did there. It's amazing how you show up this way. Or like, you're so much kinder than me. You'll say like dramatic things. I don't know if they're true, but like you build her up of like, you're so kind and sharing. And like, it probably means a lot coming from her. Like we try to do that, but it's so cool to see you do that to her also.
And I think that, the fact that I'm doing it now and Vera does it too, especially in like birthday cards or like whenever she writes little notes for me, that could be a product of you guys always encouraging us specifically and showing that like model of this is how we like encourage each other and build each other specifically up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been beautiful to watch. And I mean, all siblings fight, and you certainly did when you were younger. And even now, like you don't always want to spend time together, but it's been marvelous to watch, like how you guys as individuals are different, but value each other and like support each other. And even like I see how the way you treat her around your friends, they respect her because you respect her publicly in front of your older friends. And so they include her a little bit. Or they'll be like, hi, Vera. They won't like ignore her. Like that's really cool to see and pretty rare. Yeah. So I want to honor you in that. Okay, rules, man. Nobody likes rules. Okay, but let's start with what is a rule or some rules that you have appreciated that we've had? Like rules you're like, man, I'm actually glad, Mom and Dad, that you like fight for this or made this a rule.
Yeah.
If there's none, it's okay.
Oh no.
I'm fishing for compliments.
No, but the first like biggest one that comes to mind is social media. I really wanted social media a lot, like because all my friends had it at a very young age, like Instagram, Snapchat. That's what I mean by like the big apps that I wanted. But now I think that just this year on my own, without you guys telling me on my own, I've realized that I really don't want that extra thing that I could use as comparison or extra like flow of media in my brain. Yeah. Like I really don't have the mental capacity for it. And I genuinely don't want to have another outlet to see people's lives, which is, I know it can be so great, but for like knowing me and like knowing how I can take like even great things and make it a thing of like jealousy and comparison, which I've learned about myself over the past. I'm grateful that I didn't have it at a young age and it didn't become normal. And I still don't have it. I still don't have social media now. But I actually don't even think that I want it, honestly.
Yeah, I was curious, like when you turn 18 and whatever, you're a grown up legally and you could do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
you think you're gonna want social media?
Oh man, I
Not
don't
just to put you
know.
on the spot. I'm
I
just
think
curious.
I think that I want it to post. That's the only thing I do want to post
Mm-hmm.
about what's happening in my life, and I want to be able to see my friends and like
Mm-hmm.
what's like special things are happening in their lives. That part I do like, and being connected.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that I had that, and that's the only thing that I'm like dang, like I'm not very connected. Like I don't know what my friends are doing, which is I
Yeah.
think it can be a really good
Sure.
thing. It can
Pros
also
and
be a
cons.
bad thing,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so that aspect of social media I do like, and I do wish I could have, but I'm willing to not have that if it means that I can not have something to compare myself by and ruin my day.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, rule we've had that you don't like or you felt was pointless, or like, why is this really a rule?
Oh, well, when I was little, it would be the phone thing.
Yeah.
By little, I mean like middle school, probably. I got my phone when I was in 8th grade, if you guys don't know, but I would say, that was the hardest thing for me. It was so hard. And it would make me cry all the time because everyone had a phone and I just didn't. And it was so annoying. And I'm really glad that I have a phone, but that was something that was like legitimately hard for me. Um, I feel like I could have gotten it a little earlier. Like
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's fair.
but like to text my friends, like, or at least to have an iPad. Like
Mhm.
we had a Kindle. That's not an iPad. That's not even close to an iPad. That's what like grandmas watch books on. I mean, read books on. You know, like that's not gonna cut it.
Statement.
So
Watch books, grandmas.
sorry, guys.
No, whatever.
But I know I think that like at least if I could have had my own iPad to text my friends on, you know, like we could have figured out a situation.
For sure.
I know that you guys have like found you guys like I was able to text on mom's phone, which is really nice, but also a little annoying because I'd have to always ask to use her phone. I did have the Gizmo watch, which R.I.P. Gizmo watch. You didn't.
I think it was a piece of junk.
You weren't really helpful.
No. Never worked from day one.
Like when especially around that time, was that maybe like 7th grade? That was when I was like, man, like, can I just have something to text my friends on for my own, on my own time? Like we could have set up screen time on that or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing I would change.
Yeah. I don't disagree with your feelings on that. Like, I know that was a point of contention. I don't think you ever were like, "Oh, I'm fine with that rule."
No, I was never.
I don't think you were ever fine with that rule. I don't blame you. Okay, this is an interesting question. You actually want to talk to us, like, by us being mom and dad. Like the relationship, Shay's on the other side of the camera, so I'm looking over there. The relationship you have with your mom is amazing, and it's one of the things that Shay, your mom, really was concerned about when you were little, because like when you're little and like you're always disciplining and it's like, no, and we're not giving you a phone, and like as a mom and a daughter you feel there's tension between the females, and she's like, I really want to make sure we have a great relationship, me and Chloe and Vera. And so now seeing that you guys have an amazing relationship and you're like friends and you talk, and then I feel like you talk to me and we talk about real things, and you're very open and honest about how you feel or what you're thinking about or highs or lows, whatever. Why do you actually want to talk to us? Like, what has led to that, do you think?
Yeah, I think
'Cause it's rare.
Right.
I think it's rare.
Yeah. I think that it's again with the whole like social media thing, and well, now that I feel like I've chilled out. I've like accepted those rules, and now I'm like smart enough to know why you guys have put some of those rules in place. Not all of them, but like for social media, for phone stuff like that, shows, like I can see why you guys put that in place, and I respect that now because I think it's shaped a lot of who I am. But when I didn't see that, when I didn't see like why you guys were doing putting in these rules, I was just so angry. And I don't know, I feel like for mommy, definitely I was more angry at her because I don't know what something about the dynamic, but like
Mhm.
if I would get mad, then she would get mad that I was mad. I don't know if she was really mad, but it felt to me like there was just only nothing but anger, right? Right.
Am I
Um
right?
am I right? All right.
Yeah.
But that really was like really hard, and I
Mm.
remember when I would just always be angry with her and always be like crying and like she didn't understand me, and that
Hmm.
all there is just tension. There's no
Mhm.
like space, there's no like calm. But now that I've grown a bit, I've realized like I respect that, and I
Hmm.
think I don't really ask for the like rules to come off anymore as much. So there's more room to just be friends and just be like on the same
Oh,
level
interesting. Yeah.
and put that stuff aside.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
That's really interesting. That makes sense. I'm just thinking right now for parents that have younger kids than you, you're 15, so if they're not quite at your level yet, what's like the encouragement for them? Do you think like your experience is maybe typical of younger kids? Like, do you think like if they're not connecting with their children, part of it might be that the kids are just upset with the rules or upset about something so that they don't have that friend relationship yet because it still feels like boss
Yeah,
employee relationship?
definitely. Because yeah, that's exactly what I feel like boss employee
Yeah.
relationship. It just feels like you're just the master telling me everything I can't do. That's how it felt like,
Hmm.
which is hard. It was really, really hard. And then you just want to be angry at them. You
Hmm.
have like it's too young. You don't even know like forgiveness and being rational. So yes, I definitely think that that's a huge thing that could like start that like separation.
And then do you think the encouragement is just to give it time, and when the kids get to maybe your age, they can sort of see the point in there? Is there? Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's anything else that has helped you make that shift. You're like, hey, I view
Yeah, I
view
think
mom and dad as friends.
yeah. I think being reasonable about your rules. I think I honestly don't remember. All I remember is my anger if I
That's
think
fair.
back to those times, to be honest.
That
But
leads to the dark side of the
yeah,
force, by the
but
way.
when you're implementing those rules as a parent, if to just have still be really patient, still be
Mm.
really gentle putting in these rules, no matter how much the kid, because like we don't know better, like we just don't know better. We don't know why the reason is that you're making us so different than all of our other friends. Like why can't we just blend in? Like the world seems so simple,
Mm.
and we're just angry and it's all we can see. But if the parents continue to be gentle and forgiving and like understanding of that throughout them growing up, giving them space, also being reasonable, like listen to if they want to make a compromise. I wanted to make compromises all the time. Pretty sure I had like 5 presentations that I could have gone back and like found for you guys to
In
show
my
you.
presentation, she made slide decks
Yeah,
like
slides.
of why she should have Snapchat and like
Yeah.
and even the cons why she shouldn't have Snapchat, which was really strategic sales pitch. Here are the pros and the cons of
Right.
Snapchat. You decide.
Yes.
You decide.
Exactly. I was being reasonable too, guys.
I think you were.
Just kidding. But be making compromises, that makes me feel like, okay, you guys aren't totally just only nothing but controlling in my mind,
Yeah,
in
no.
the kid's mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Why do you think you tell
The question. So Shay's asking a question. Is that what was the question? Why do you think? Why do you tell us stuff? Yeah, so like most teenagers don't tell
Yeah.
parents what's going on in their lives. Like you have been very honest about like your fears, your struggles, things are happening at school. Like you've been really open and vulnerable with us. What do you think that is?
I think, yeah, I think that might be because, I mean, the best reason I could think of would be your marriage and just seeing, well, first of all, like our family is very, like physically, like close, like usually in the same room, usually like kitchen, living room, sometimes bedroom, but like downstairs around each other. And you guys have intention, not all the time, but like most of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm a lot of my childhood has heard you and mommy's conversations and hearing those all the time in the car, in the kitchen, wherever,
cool.
at the dinner table, like hearing how you guys talked about what's going on and like being vulnerable just being completely open while we are around you guys um, gave me like an invisible like permission card to speak about what's going on with me. And I think if we were more separated family, like literally physically separate, like I was in my room, Vera was in her room, you guys are downstairs doing whatever you want, I have no reason to talk to you guys about what I'm going through. Nobody cares about me. Nobody's checking in on me. That's another thing. You guys checked in on us. Like you would knock on the door if we're up in our room. Not all the time, but sometimes if we've been alone for some time and we seem off, intentionally checking in on us. Even if I didn't really respond to you guys or really gave in or told you how I'm doing, you guys didn't give up doing that. And that automatically gives me access to talk about those things. And it took me a long time to start to open up. And I think I'm just now opening up more and becoming even more vulnerable with you guys because I had a lot of bitterness and anger towards you guys because of all the rules. But over time, again, it's just like over time have I grown. I've learned like I need to talk about this with you guys. I need help. And I need like your wisdom and I need someone to talk to. And I'm allowed to speak what I want to say. I don't have to cover it up.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's really cool. It's really cool to hear it from your perspective because it feels like for Mommy and I, it's like a hot mess a lot. Like, are we doing enough? Are we checking in enough or too much? Are we being overly intentional, like here's what we're going to do for family connected time, or are we too disconnected? And like at times, like I've been seasons in my business where it's changing or we were broke or like, and I'm like, am I in my head too much? Am I not connected to the family enough? And so it's like, I never know if I'm doing enough, and I'm sure it's a mixed bag, but it's cool to hear what you notice and what you've picked up on over the years and what's been meaningful to you. That's really cool. Well, let's wrap up with, we'll go in the final kind of question in the spiritual side of things. So for the Christians listening, not everyone's a Christian, not everyone's a person of faith, but we're Christians as a family. We talk about faith on this show. And so what has been beautiful to watch is your faith take off. You've grown up in a Christian home. I remember when you were very little, maybe 5 or 6, asking to like invite Jesus into your heart. Like you had questions about how that happened, what that meant, going to heaven. And so we explained everything and prayed with you years ago, but seeing like you now as a teenager, asking these questions, figuring this stuff out and being like, yeah, this is my faith, not just my parents' faith or not just because I've been going to church my whole life. The last couple of years have been amazing. The last 12 months in particular, from age 14 to 15, is what I'm thinking of. We're in the summer right now, so your birthday's in the summer. The last year has been amazing to watch you grow spiritually. So what would you say has led to your faith growing and your connection with God deepening? What would you point to for like all that happening? It might be multiple things.
Yeah. So one, I would say my youth group has been a big part of it. I think one time my youth leader last year said it was one of the messages, and he was like you guys are at the age where you have to have a faith for yourselves. Like it's time to make not your mom's faith, not your dad's faith, like a faith for yourself and a walk with God, like just you and him. And that was really eye-opening to me. And I was like, yeah, like, dang, you're right. I need to start reading the word for myself. So that would be one thing. Like, and also being in youth group, seeing friends my age who are, and I'm in a really good youth group, seeing friends who are like truly opening the word and trying to open the word and trying to go after God and grow in Christ. I think another thing would be how much, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I would say when we come downstairs a lot of times in the mornings, you guys are sitting in a chair reading your Bibles and doing your quiet time. And I saw that all since I was little, like all the time, whether it be in your bedroom or in the living room. You would be doing your Bible time, or we're gonna do our quiet time, or we're on vacation and you go. I see mom and dad, like we're watching cartoons, and I see you guys walk out into the little balcony or whatever, and do your quiet time. And seeing that, I because you guys never have forced us to, and that's another good thing. You guys have never forced us to open the word. Like, it's time. Like, let's do your morning time. I think maybe one time we did for like a summer reading thing as a family, but you've never been like, you guys have to do this. Like, I think that you've trusted in the Lord enough to allow Him to do the work and make it a more beautiful and personal thing for me to be able to want to try this faith thing out really, like, for the first time. After seeing you guys do it, after seeing people in youth group doing it, really putting it into place. And I did, like, eventually I did. And I set up like a morning routine with Jesus, and like I can't stop ever since, because I've realized for myself, I've had space for myself and really great models to see what that looks like and how important it is.
That's amazing. And what's so cool, Chloe, is like, I think now your sister's watching you get up in the morning, read your Bible. So like, she's not in the same place in her journey as you are, but neither were you probably when you were 12 either. But like, she sees you making time. And even in the evening, like if you haven't read, you're like, I'm going to read in the evening, and like burning a candle and playing something peaceful. And like, she's noticing that. And so you're having an impact on her. And she'll probably have a conversation with me or mommy down the road similar. Like, I saw Chloe doing it all the time,
Yeah, which is really cool, because she does, like, I can tell, like, she, like, to the clothes that I wear and the things I do, she copies a lot, which is cute, and it's a compliment. But you're right, like, eventually I hope and I believe that she'll see me and you and mom and copy after that.
It's cool. I've heard the phrase more is caught than taught when it comes to like kids and parenting. Like, they catch just from seeing it. And and like, if mom and dad are stressed out all the time, a lot of that gets caught.
So
if they're not, so you could, intentional teaching is important. It's not that teaching isn't, but it's just like, in a way it can be discouraging. You feel like, well, what are they catching? But in a way it can also be encouraging that, like, hey, just you, as you're growing as an adult, learning to like live your own life and find, all these improvements that we're talking about as a married couple and a family, like, your kids are catching a lot of that. They're noticing it. And like, as you grow, they're going to grow. And the good news is, when they're little, maybe they won't notice all the screw ups. And as they get older, maybe they'll notice more of the stuff you're doing well. This is amazing. Thanks for being so honest. What would you, just to wrap it up, what would you say, like, final encouragement for any moms and dads who maybe they don't have kids that are quite your age yet, and it's tiring and it's exhausting, and you know what it's like to be whatever ages you can remember, like, any encouragement for them about like that, if they don't feel like they're doing a great job of parenting and maybe they're unsure, like, because of the way their kids are wiling out or not learning the lessons that they're teaching. Do you have anything come to mind that you'd want to encourage them with from your point of view as a child?
I would say patience and gentleness, and just doing everything with gentleness, because when they become old enough to realize and remember, like, man, like, mom and dad were always, they had rules, yes. They made me stop certain things. They made me do certain things, but they were never demanding. They were never like, you have to do this or else. Like, they never said they were disappointed in me. They just encouraged me, and they gently told me, like, hey, we should do this. Let's stop doing this. They're going to look back on that and remember that and respect you more for it. They're not going to respect parents that are screaming and yelling and telling them what to do. Like, that's really hard to respect a person in general who's screaming at them. Like, and no matter how tough we are as kids, because like, we're all tough. We're very, very tough. We're growing humans. But just patience and gentleness, and forgiveness. Yeah. And also setting, like you said, like, be mindful of how much you're projecting, like, when you're talking to your spouse, like, your kids do hear it. And especially if you are being intentional about putting them in the same room, like, it is what you said, like, how you showcase, like, how you're living your life, being honest, being raw, that's so important. Like, honestly, it's could be way more important than what you tell them to do and how you tell them to live their lives and how you tell them to speak to other people. Like, how you're speaking with your spouse is so important. And I know that because, like, about like the whole yelling thing in our house and just the vibe that we've created and the culture we've created is a lot because of the example that we had that you guys set for us.
That's awesome. Thank you. I love
Yeah.
that perspective. It's interesting you said gentleness. Last thought here is, this is getting nerdy, but in the scriptures, the only time that Jesus is described as like his personality in the scriptures, he is said that he is gentle and lowly of heart.
Mhm.
And so that's the word he describes
Yeah.
of himself as gentle. And that's an interesting choice of words for him, and that you picked
Yeah,
up on
yeah.
that too. There's something powerful about gentleness. So
And look at how much impact he had.
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, this is amazing. You're amazing. We
Mercy.
end this show by just simply sharing one thing we're grateful for. So what's one thing
Oh,
that
I
you're
like
grateful for
that.
today? It can be about anything, anywhere.
I'm grateful for my church. Our church is right outside of our neighborhood, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I can serve people and welcome them. It's just fun.
It's amazing. Yeah, you're a super servant. I love that. I'm grateful for you that you even wanted to do this, that you wanted to have the interview and share your point of view, because Mommy and I could talk all day long
Yeah.
about what we think works, but really the proof is in the pudding with you and Vera, and not just how you turn out as young women, but like your perspective is going to be different than ours, because hopefully you're going to do things like we've done it, but also better. Like you'll probably improve and say, well, you know what? I want to do it this way. I mean, maybe your future husband will have a really good example in his parents that was a little different than us, and you can blend the two together, and hopefully every generation we're getting better. But I'm grateful that you were willing to share your perspective, because I think it's valuable to people today. So
Yeah. I'm so grateful for this
Yeah.
podcast.
you should check out the Family Goals podcast. You should
maybe I
like it.
will. Maybe I
Yeah,
will.
that's a good one. Yeah. Love you, kiddo.
I love you.
See you guys on another episode real soon.